Well, hello bee people. This is Rob here from Wildfield Honey. So now that honey season's over and you have all this drawn out foundation, how are you going to store it? Well, I learned the hard way last year in how not to store your honey frames, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it this year, which I think is the right way to do it based on popular opinion of experienced beekeepers. Well, let's head inside here, our garage, and I'll give you a first-hand look on what I'm going to do, how I'm going to store it. And again, I'm no expert, but I think this is going to work out better than it did last year. What I intend to do this year that I didn't do last year is actually store my honey supers the right way. Last year what I did, because I didn't have too many honey supers or brood frames that I wanted to store, I decided to store them inside my house. Now, the issue with that is it was nice and warm and cozy, and what happened was wax moths decided to take over those frames and make a mess of everything. And I'll show you an example of that in this little clip here. That is actually, and look at that. Look at that nest right there. Larva's still squirming around and alive. I took these out not too long ago. The benefit of using a queen excluder that I've learned through some experienced beekeepers is that it keeps a lot of the bee bread out of the honey supers that you see here, and that's what really attracts a small hive beetle and wax moths to attack your stuff and destroy your equipment. So one way to combat that is to use this paramoth. These are like mothballs, but ones that are safe to use for honey frames, drawn comb, and that won't get into the wax. And then ventilation. So I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna install a fan up here on the rafter. I'll show you that as well, that because the top and bottom are gonna be open with a screen, and I have two types of screen. So I'm gonna use this window screen that I'm just gonna staple onto the bottom of the box. And then I actually built this out of number 8 hardware cloth. This is a pretty cool idea. And I got one on the bottom as well, but it's on the ground right now, so I need to lift that up to elevate it. And that fan will help circulate. And you know what? I had a really good extractor this year, so my honey supers, the frames, are pretty dry. Storing dry frames is your best bet, especially in a garage. And essentially the only pests I have to keep out now are mice, and I'll lay out traps throughout the garage. Don't have mice now, but don't want to encourage them, don't want any unwanted visitors. So I'll put on a time lapse here and show you how we get it done. Well, that's all she wrote. Everything is up, elevated, off of the ground. Ventilation, top. See this? Top and bottom. Just gonna move that. I'm gonna add some hardware cloth on that. You get the idea. One last thing to do is to add ventilation in here. So I am going to install this fan like so, and then plug it in, and then that's it. It ain't much, but the fan's working. Everything is tucked away, ready to go for spring of 2022. Now again, I am no expert at this, but this is just how I'm gonna do it this year. Hope you learned something from it. As long as you keep you know, dry frames stored, away from any pests, small hive beetle, wax moths, mice, and you keep air circulating through them, hopefully they won't get funky and you'll be able to save them for the spring. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to have more for you soon, do some winter projects, and looking forward to seeing you next time.